Even though the Brothers War is not scheduled to hit the shelves until November, due to the pace that Wizard sets on all these coming products, we're going to take a close look at what you can expect in the Brothers War.
This set is going to be based around an event. That means it's not going to be based around certain mechanics or like a flavor. It's going to be based around an event that we already know from antiquities. The big battle of Urza versus Mishra. So this is what's going to be happening in the Brothers War. We're going to be traveling back with Teferi, as we found out in the story in the episode 5, I believe it was. We're going to be time traveling back, and we're going to see the Brothers War from a whole new angle, and it's looking really great. So I think we should have a look at the product lineup and see what we can find out by looking at the booster boxes. We're going to have a product line that looks a lot like all the other products with a few exceptions. So first of all, we're going to have a draft, a set, and a collector. Then we're going to have a bundle, as we already know, but this time there's going to be something that they're calling the deluxe bundle, which I'm really interested to see what that is. Maybe, I'm just speculating, but maybe we're going to have a bundle either with set or with collector boosters in it, where you get to pay some extra. Then you're also going to have a couple of commander decks, feature Urza and Mishra on each of their different commander decks. And then as the last thing, we're going to have a pre-release pack. There's going to be 2, and just like in the Streets of New Capenna, where you decided who you wanted to fight alongside, you're going to be either choosing to be a part of Urza's Iron Alliance or Mishra's Burnished Banner. So you're going to have these 2 options for your pre-release night.
The draft box art, and we're going to put it up here so you can see it, features Mishra on one side and Urza on the other side. And it's pretty obvious that these 2 brothers has this antagonistic pose towards each other. They are also featured with each power stone. Mishra has the weak stone and Urza has the power stone. So Mishra in green and Urza in red. Then on the bottom of the box you can see these 2 factions warring against each other. On the side of Mishra there's a lot of Phyrexian creatures. On the side of Urza you see golems and constructs and other mechanical beasts. And in the middle you see this great Thran portal, which is also featured on Dominaria United. This set is going to take place on Dominaria also.
Like the old story of the antiquities, it takes place on Dominaria, and we see the 2 brothers warring with each other, and we're really like reaching a conclusion here where the battle is really intense, and that's also what the pictures displays on this draft box. I think it's really interesting to see that they have brought these power stones into this focus, because these are the original power stones that they searched for in the cave of Koilos. They were there with their tutor, an archaeologist called Tokasha, and they were digging to find these power stones. They found one and they broke it in half, and that is actually what opened the Phyrexian portal in the caves of Koilos. So there's definitely some lore in there, and it gives me a really nice flavor, and it makes it seem like there's been someone at the design team really wanting to pull on those nostalgia strings. I think it's really interesting, and I really like the flavor of this, even though there's a certain 90s vibe to this draft box design.
Yeah, and also in the description of the set it says that this set is going to be focused on constructs and artifacts, and I think this is really positive, because who doesn't like artifacts, of course. But one thing that has me a bit worried is that Dominaria United is a set focused on all the colors. Many of the cards need you to invoke as many colors and as basic land colors as you possibly can. And now we have the Brothers War set saying artifacts, artifacts, artifacts. But how many cards can you actually hold in a set to support multiple colors, to support tribes, to support artifacts, and also have a little bit of room for monocolored stuff? I think that is stretching the set a bit thin. So it's going to be interesting to see what we actually have in store when the spoilers come.
If we have a look at these set boxes, let's see them up on the screen here. You can see Urza looking pretty evil, a little crazy maybe even. He does look a little, upset and really powerful also. He's surrounded by this really, burning sort of constructs we see in the background. These are actually slightly similar to what we see on the old card Urza's Mine. But what's also really interesting is that he's holding the Might Stone and it's glowing, and his eyes are really, shining green. And if you have a closer look at the side of the box, you see this Power Stone perhaps implanted into one of the constructs.
I think you're absolutely right. I think he looks bonkers crazy. and I think it might have something to do with the corruption closely connected to the Power Stones. So is this a classic story of a hero gone wrong? The great noble hero, because if you remember how he looks on the draft box, he's clearly more aligned towards the good, I would say, than on the set boxes. So maybe this is a story about Ursa and his fall from grace and the absolutely takeover of the Power Stone due to the corruption it spawns. If you remember from the lore, the Power Stones were also what made the workers sick and ultimately gave the rise to Yawgmoth.
Yeah, the Power Stones, when you weren't too close to them, according to magic myth, gave you a disease called phthisis. This will be really interesting to see if this also leaves room for Yawgmoth's rise. Are we going to have that part of the story represented in the Brothers' War as well?
The collector box features a huge evil looking dragon engine, and this is really much in flavor with the rest of the set, because one of the descriptions of the set says that this set is going to be focused around powerful constructs on powerful artifacts. I think we have something good in store here.
If you go have a look at the WPN site, it has the description of what's in the box. There's a normal description of what we have in these collector boxes, but there's also something called a special mythic rare, and that's really interesting to start speculating about. What is that special mythic rare? We're going to have some sort of, antiquities retold, done as special mythic editions. I would love that. I would love to see like maybe some of the old artifacts. If you remember, antiquities was almost exclusively artifacts, as I recall it. Wouldn't that be a great homage to this old set to see some really special border treatment of some really powerful mythic artifacts? I would love that. Besides that, I also think we need to mention that there's been this idea that there might be antiquities cards slotted into the packs. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to overuse this, so I don't think so, but can't confirm it or deny it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe they'll do that either, because it's too much money to invest in the product, and they have just done it with the Dominaria United. But I think, like you do, that we're going to see some really powerful new versions,
yeah, I think so,
of these maybe old antiquities cards. Since these cards are going to be mythic, I think they are going to be really powerful. So no more washed out new interpreted legend card like we saw in Dominaria United. Here is the room for the really powerful bombs.
Everybody really wants the set to be powerful. We want it to have the sort of, retro feel of the Ursa block, of the antiquities. So I think they have listened. I think we will get some perhaps difficult to pull, but really special mythic cards that will mostly, if not only, focus on artifacts. And I am very excited for it. We might mention that we're getting the rest of the pain lands, but what about the other rare slots? It's only 4 pain lands. Maybe we're going to see some artifact lands.
There's only 2 hoping. So what are your thoughts? Are you looking forward to the Brothers' War, or are you a bit cautious after having been burned a little by Dominaria United? Leave a comment and we look forward to hearing from you.